It's aimed at those who are victims of violence, but also those that are considering harm, that may be potential perpetrators, and may need support in that respect. And that's really important if we're going to minimise harm. This is a support service, and I think that's really important. That wasn't in place nationwide before. Not necessarily the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff either. We're talking about people who might have harmful thoughts with respect to violence, ringing up and getting support at a critical time before they engage in any kind of violent behaviour. And so that's not ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, that's actually at the top. So I think it provides a broad range of support in this respect, and I think it's crucial for many different groups.
And the way that we see it here at Home Care is that there is a continuum of care. And so you're talking more about sort of trying to prevent harm occurring at a certain stage in people's lives, but you also have to think about the continuum. You also have to have services that are available for the harm that has occurred. And this service is on a continuum, and there's other projects and processes that the ministry is involved in that address that more directly. But at this stage, this is about the people that have experienced harm and needing help. So call volumes in Christchurch were what we expect them to be, and so if you think about since we launched in February, we've received over sort of 900 contacts from the New Zealand public, and like Andrew was saying earlier, that's over 700 unique contacts. And so what we know at this early stage is the demand is high.
Is there any sort of follow-up service?
Yeah, absolutely, and so we're linked into services that are actually on the ground, and so face-to-face engagement with people who have experienced harm is required. We can certainly facilitate that, which is great. But I think the biggest advantage of the service that we're launching is the, and Minister Sepuloni described it earlier in her speech, the ability for people to be anonymous. I think it's a really big step to go and ask for face-to-face help. I think the small step you can take by contacting us and our availability 24 hours, 7 days a week, I think people who may not have received, who may not have had the courage to step forward and ask for help in a face-to-face setting. The many channels that we can operate allows people to have contact. It's fantastic.
Can I just add? I think one really important aspect to this service is that yes, there are centres in Auckland, Christchurch, and Wellington,
yep,
but there are also people that have the expertise. We're talking about registered professionals here that are receiving the phone calls on the other end of the line, and people that are working from home in particular places around the country. So I know that there's some people working in Kaitaia who have an understanding for the supports provided in those local settings. So that connectedness is going to be really important to making sure that people get the right support for them in the place where they're at.
We are concerned here at Home Care about our priority populations, and Māori in particular. We know that Anonymity could provide a way for all New Zealanders, including Māori and the Pacific community, to access a service that they feel would be safe for them to access. And so far, our numbers represent the numbers that are in the community, and I think that we've got some work to do to ensure that those numbers reflect potentially the prevalence of harm that has occurred, and so there might be an expectation that we are overrepresented with certain population groups. We'd like to be able to facilitate that, but so far it looks like priority populations are using the service.